Here are 10 hidden gems for the Nintendo 3DS. One of Sega's first efforts for the Nintendo 3DS, Rhythm Thief and the Emperor's Treasure takes place in a modern-day Paris. As you would expect, the game is highly influenced by its location, with the dialogue, soundtrack and even the script, including a sort of French charm. You take control of Raphael, who is one of the city's most wanted criminals, as you're thrown into a treasure hunt that sees you travelling from location to location and talking to NPCs. But the real meat here though, as the game title suggests, are the musical sections that appear throughout the entire journey. And on that level, Rhythm Thief is almost perfect. The title comes packed with a huge variety of 50 rhythmic songs that vary in theme, musical style, difficulty and controls, offering a wide array of minigames that will please almost everybody, while also providing a great challenge even to those who have played a large share of games in the same genre. Gunman Clive 2 is a side-scrolling run-and-gun platformer developed by Hoberg Productions. You can play as one of 3 characters that all possess different attributes and skills that aid you throughout the adventure. One simply jumps and shoots, the other can hover briefly like Princess Peach and shoot slightly faster, whilst the last wields no guns and can only attack foes with a short-range spear. The game consists of 25 levels that offer an impressive variety of gameplay, and in addition to standard 2D platforming segments, a few 3D on-rail sections are also included that breaks up the action as you progress. Gunman Clive 2 is everything a sequel should be. It improves upon the first game's solid foundation and adds a huge amount of new, equally enjoyable content. If you're even remotely fond of challenging platformers, then make sure you give this one a shot. You play as Rusty, a lonely robot that comes to the mining town of Tumbleton. He received a deed from his uncle, who he finds in ruins at the start of the journey. Rusty shortly after comes across a cast of helpful characters who are in need of a hero to build up their town. Now the dialogue isn't too deep, but the narrative is enjoyable and it keeps you going until the end. Gameplay wise, SteamWorld Dig takes elements from older Metroid titles by having you explore the farthest reaches of the mines to discover the unknown. As you progress through the game, Rusty becomes stronger as you explore the caves and find new abilities. Nevertheless, the game has a bigger platforming focus than the Metroid games, and it is here where Rusty's abilities become so important. Visually, the game is stunning with its use of 2D sprites that bring the very unique art style to life. Add in some catchy western music and you've got yourself a recipe for success. SteamWorld Dig is truly a great game that deserves a look. At this point, it's available on many other systems, so there has never been a better time to jump into this addictive little adventure. Stellar Glow is an anime-inspired SRPG developed by Atlus and released in 2015. The game offers a deep story, fantastic voice acting, as well as a fun and addictive battle system. The action takes place from an isometric point of view, where you have the ability to move your characters around on panels that dictate your options within battle. It's very similar to the likes of Fire Emblem, with the views shifting during battle once an attack is made. But what makes Stellar Glow stand out is the inclusion of song magic, which brings something unique to each battle, with songs carrying various effects that can turn the tide of a battle. Although each encounter is quite enjoyable, the game does have a tendency to drag out battles for what feels like no reason at all. But outside of fighting, the ability to talk with your party members acts as a sort of social link mechanic that allows you to unlock new abilities, but the only downside being that this time outside of combat is very limited throughout the duration of the campaign, making it quite easy to miss fully leveling up your characters if you're not careful. With this minor complaint aside, if you are a fan of the Fire Emblem series or even Final Fantasy Tactics, I would say there is enough on offer here to warrant a purchase. Citizens of Earth combines interesting characters and turn-based strategy to create a fun and unique game. The battle system is very simple and straightforward, allowing players of all levels to enjoy this RPG. Heavily inspired by the 16-bit classic Earthbound, battles themselves play out much like traditional turn-based games, with the build-up of energy playing central to the power of your attacks. One of the most surprising aspects of Citizens of Earth is just how much there is to do. With the main campaign spanning over 30 hours, players will explore an impressive variety of locations as they look to uncover the mystery behind the chaos that's overcome the world. Citizens of Earth is a no-brainer for fans of Earthbound and classic SNES-era RPGs alike. Developer Eden Industries has crafted an incredible and captivating adventure that offers a generous amount of content, both in the game's main storyline and the abundant side quests packed in the 30-hour adventure. Etrian Odyssey 4 Legends of the Titan is the 4th game in Atlus's dungeon crawling series for Nintendo handhelds. You take on the role of an amateur explorer looking to form their own guild and explore locations known as labyrinths. The game hands you a blank map, ushers you into the nearest labyrinth, and instructs you to fill it in. While the first area you explore is relatively easy, it quickly escalates to become much harder. Etrian Odyssey 4 makes excellent use of the 2 screens on the 3DS. Within the labyrinth, the top screen will display a first-person view of your dungeon, so you can see what lies ahead. Battle is a turn-based affair using regular attacks. Each time you do an action in battle, your burst gauge will fill up and earn you a point. These points can then be used to activate a burst skill, which can be used in a number of ways depending on the skills you have equipped. As you progress throughout the game, you unlock more skills and become able to have more equipped at one time. Overall, Etrian Odyssey 4 is admittedly not for everyone, but a great game nonetheless, especially if you're a fan of dungeon crawlers. Senran Burst is a simple, side-scrolling beat-em-up developed by Tamsoft. The fighting system is incredibly simple, opening up the game to every type of player. There are no fancy combos to remember, you simply just hit one button to jump, one for a light attack, and another for a heavy. But that's not all you have at your disposal. There is a special attack known as the Aerial Rave that sees your character relentlessly hitting each enemy as you dash around in the air. Upon filling your magic meter, your character will have the option of performing a ninja transformation that sees them change into a sassy ninja with the ability to deal a hell of a lot more damage. Although the game is a ton of fun, unfortunately it does fall short in its presentation, with considerable drops in frame rate and overall quality of the visuals, but it does not detract from the game entirely. With a ton of unlockables and extras, Senran Burst will keep you busy with its quick pick up and play nature as you make it through everything that is on offer. If you're a fan of side-scrolling beat-em-ups and are looking for something to satisfy that itch, then Senran Burst is the one for you. Originally released on the Super Famicom in 1994, Yumi's Odd Odyssey stays true to its name, as there really is nothing at all normal about this 3DS hidden gem. You take control of a girl in possession of a multi-tool fishing rod that acts as a sort of grapple to aid in platforming when traversing each level. Don't be fooled by the overly cute visual style of the game, as that is the only simple thing about it. What makes Yumi's Odd Odyssey stand out is how tricky it can be to play. Getting used to the grapple that acts more like a slingshot can take a while, but once everything clicks, you'll be swinging all over the place, taking out enemies right, left and center. One aspect of the game that manages to increase its value has to be the inclusion of branching paths that lead to different endings for the game. Because of this, multiple playthroughs are encouraged in order to find all of the hidden collectibles that litter the environments and to check out every single ending. Even though Yumi's Odd Odyssey's high challenge and goofy take on platforming won't be for everyone, it is definitely a game you should at least try out. Crimson Shroud was originally released as one of the games included in the Collection Guild 01, but is now available as a separate eShop download. The story in a nutshell concerns 3 adventurers for hire, a warrior, a rogue, and a young sorceress who are hired to enter an old, decaying ruin to search for an ancient item that might be connected to the legendary Crimson Shroud, one of the oldest magical artifacts left in the world. Gameplay-wise, Crimson Shroud is fairly simple. You move from room to room, looting chests and defeating enemies as the story unfolds in short cutscenes and narration. The influence of legendary game designer Yasumi Matsuno, who is well known for such titles as Final Fantasy XII and Vagrant Story, is clearly present throughout Crimson Shroud. The art style and presentation is highly reminiscent of its previous titles, and in my opinion, a great inclusion. All in all, I really enjoy Crimson Shroud. It offers 2 full playthroughs, a genuinely impressive atmosphere, really fun turn-based battles, and a decent amount of content. If you're a fan of Dragon Ball, Fusions is a must-have. For a 3DS game, everything looks and sounds great. It really is amazing to see what Nintendo's aging handheld is still capable of. Dragon Ball fans will be glad to hear the ability to choose your language track is present within the game, offering full English or Japanese VO, and in my opinion, this is always a good inclusion, especially with games based on an anime show. Now, what makes DB Fusions unique is the way in which the gameplay plays out. A lot of people liken it to Pokemon, with the battles taken on a turn-based fashion as you and your team of 5 fighters take on a wide array of enemies. But the star of the show is the ability to fuse your characters, which opens the door to some incredible battle potential. Once you have filled the Zenkai meter sufficiently, you are ready to fuse 2 characters or all 5 into a super fusion that results in some truly devastating attacks. I'm a huge fan of Dragon Ball, and DB Fusions ticks all of the boxes, but beyond my appreciation for the show, it is quite easy to see that this is an approachable RPG that is suitable for anyone, not just Dragon Ball fans. Bottom line, get it if you enjoy RPGs, and if you're a Dragon Ball fan, this one is a no-brainer.